The Moon and Sixpence. In London in the early 20th century, there lived a man named Charles. He had a kind wife, 2 young children, and a steady job. Their family life was calm and warm, a perfect picture in the eyes of others. Yet inside, Charles always felt an emptiness. He lived each day by routine, but never found true happiness. This emptiness was not because life was bad, but because a hidden passion lay buried in his heart. That passion was painting. Family duties and daily work once held him tightly. He pressed this love deep inside, believing that life was meant to be ordinary. But the more he suppressed the desire, the stronger it grew, until it became a longing he could never erase. Then one ordinary day, he stood by the window, watching the shifting light outside. And in that moment, clarity suddenly came. He finally understood that his daily emptiness was never a matter of fate, but of failing to follow his inner self. He also understood that painting was the home of his soul, a moon hidden deep within him, once covered by the dust of life, now breaking free and burning with light. On one side stood his burning passion. On the other, a stable life and responsibility. At this crossroads, Charles stood still. For him, painting was never a choice. It was an instinct carved into his bones. He said to himself, "I must paint." Like a drowning man, who must struggle? For this dream, Charles left his home without hesitation. He went alone to Paris to pursue a life of painting. Life in Paris was harsh. There was little food, and his savings were nearly gone. His room was small and bare. Yet, even living on dry bread, he never laid down his brush and painted relentlessly. More suffocating than poverty was the city's hypocrisy. Some mocked him for abandoning comfort to paint, calling him a madman. Others cared only for fame and money. They could not understand his pure devotion to art. Their eyes saw only survival, and they scorned the light in his heart. This cold and utilitarian world filled him with growing disgust. So Charles left the crowded city behind and traveled to a distant island. There, the sunlight was warm and the scenery beautiful, free from worldly noise. There was also Ada, his native wife, who quietly cared for his life. At last he could devote himself fully to painting, living each day fulfilled and joyful. But happiness did not last. Charles fell gravely ill. In the end, he lost his sight completely. Even in darkness, he never stopped painting. Guided by his devotion and the remembered colors of light, he painted wall after wall inside his hut. Those murals became the greatest work of his life, holding all his passion and resolve. Now, Charles lay in a small hut on Tahiti, his life nearing its end. Leprosy destroyed his body and blinded his eyes. The neighbors had long fled in fear. Only Ada stayed by his side, caring for him quietly. Through his final days, before death, Charles gave one request: that the painted hut be burned down. For he never painted for fame, not for money, nor even to be seen. He only wished to release his dream completely. Some called him selfish. Some called him reckless. But through his life, he showed us an extreme way of living. We need not abandon daily life for passion, nor bury our inner light for survival. To hold daily life in our hands and moonlight in our hearts. This is the most precious life, and the gentle truth of the moon and sixpence